Archangel Michael says, "Who did you forgive that you shouldn't have trusted again? Why have you been waking up at 3:17 a.m. without reason? Why does your chest tighten when you hear a certain name, even though they're long gone from your life? Have you been feeling watched, spiritually pulled or drained in a way that sleep can't fix? This is not paranoia. This is a spiritual violation. And I, Archangel Michael, have been commanded to speak this truth to you before it's too late. Someone you forgave has been using your name, not in a prayer, not in love, but in a ritual. They are speaking your name in mirrors. They are repeating your story in circles meant to bind, not bless. They pretend to be healed, but they are conjuring harm, because they can't stand how you survived. And yes, it's working. You've felt it in the atmosphere. You've sensed it in your health, your money, your dreams, and your relationships. This is the root. I stood at your doorway 3 nights ago. I knocked, but you were too tired. I hovered over your bed last night. You thought it was just a bad dream. It was a warning. This is your confirmation. I am not whispering tonight. I am roaring. This message is not entertainment. It is your firewall. Do not scroll past this. Do not say, maybe later. Later has cost you too much already. There is a ritual, a name, a candle, a word spoken in shadows, and it all points to you. But heaven has declared, enough. I, Archangel Michael, stand with my sword drawn. Tonight the truth is revealed, and once light touches what was hidden, no ritual can hold you again. Type 999 to break every word spoken in secret against you. Archangel Michael says, you thought forgiveness would end the war. You thought that letting it go, turning the other cheek and wishing them well would close the chapter. But I must speak the truth tonight. The one you forgave has not stopped fighting you in the spirit. They smiled when you said, I forgive you. But in the dark, they twisted your grace into a gateway. They took your name, the name soaked in pain, covered in mercy, and they handed it over to spirits that do not serve God. Listen carefully. There is someone who once sat in your kitchen, laughed with you at old photos, maybe even cried over their guilt, and yet they left your house with your name in their mouth, not to bless it but to bind it. They couldn't stand how God still favored you. They couldn't handle how peace returned to your life without them. So they turned to something ancient, something forbidden. I saw them. I watched as they took an old item, perhaps a gift you once gave them. They placed it on a table next to a flame. They wrote your name, first, middle, and last. They whispered words that did not come from heaven. They said, let them forget who they are. This is no movie. This is no metaphor. This is real. And it's why your dreams have been strange, why your memory has felt cloudy, why certain things keep accidentally going wrong. They didn't stab you with a knife. They stabbed you with silence, rituals, and jealousy that wears a polite smile in daylight. But hear me now. I, Michael, have drawn a line around your spirit. And though they called your name in darkness, I am calling it back into light. You have felt unexplainable fatigue. You've misplaced things more than usual. You keep forgetting passwords, names, appointments. You've been losing little pieces of your rhythm, and now you see why. Your name was placed in a circle, under a moon, in a room you've never been inside. But I was there. I saw it. I cried out, no more. And heaven responded. Tonight, I was released to speak this to you. This chapter ends now. Don't you remember that chill at 2:22 a.m. last Thursday? That wasn't the AC. It was me, brushing past your shoulder to remind your soul. You are not alone, and you're not crazy. That sudden image that popped in your mind this morning, that memory you hadn't thought about in years, that was not nostalgia. That was evidence. Proof that the person you once loved has been speaking of you, but not to angels. I'm here now because this is war, and you are not to fight it with confusion, but with clarity. They used your name to anchor their own lack. They used your grace to cover their spiritual envy. They are eating off the peace you paid for in tears. But the altar they made is cracking. The power they tried to conjure is leaking. Because when you forgave them, heaven took record of it. And while they used that forgiveness as a cloak for manipulation, heaven stored it as a weapon. I carry that weapon now. It is the sword of justice, and I stand at your side. Tonight, the winds will shift. Tonight you'll hear a word, maybe on a phone, in a dream, or from a stranger's lips, and it will trigger something in your spirit. That's the signal. That's your sign. When it happens, whisper this: Michael, cut the cord. Because there is still a cord. Thin, invisible, spiritual. It is not your fault. You didn't agree to the ritual, but their access came through familiarity. They used your kindness as a key, but now you must lock the door, spiritually, permanently. There is nothing left to mourn in that connection, only something to cleanse. An object you still have may be linked, an old photo, a sweater, a letter. You'll know what it is. Don't delay. When you find it, remove it from your house. Not in fear, but in freedom. Because tonight the angel of the Lord is standing in your doorway, not for protection only, but for reversal. I declare this now. Your name is being returned to you, whole, untangled, and shining. Every dark word spoken in shadow, canceled. Every spell cast in confusion, nullified. Every manipulation they whispered in pride, exposed. Because the forgiven one is no longer hidden. Their rituals have touched the edge of God's mercy. And now, justice comes like fire. Do not reach back. Do not second guess. I'm guarding you because you are chosen. Say this now. My name belongs to heaven, and I will echo it across realms. The one you forgave is still unfinished, but heaven has finished its patience, and Michael has started his protection. You are covered, you are cleared, you are claimed. This chapter is now closed. Type 444 if you receive this shield in the spirit. Archangel Michael says, you've wondered if you're overreacting. You've questioned your own senses. You've chalked it up to stress, or fatigue, or the weather. But I'm here to say, you are not imagining this. The atmosphere has shifted because someone you forgave opened a door in the spirit, and now something unholy has been walking through it. There are rituals happening. Yes, real ones. Not the kind with cloaks and candles only, but with emotions, intentions, words spoken in secret, and objects charged with jealousy. I have seen it. I watched as someone sat in their room, clutching something that once belonged to you. A bracelet, a card, a photo, and they whispered, "Let them feel what I feel." That is not mourning. That is malice. That is not healing. That is spiritual manipulation. They called your name, not in love, but in control. They burned something to silence your progress. They spoke a chant, not learned from scripture, but stolen from spirits of confusion. They wrapped your name around their tongue and cast intentions like arrows. Why do you think your body has been aching in ways doctors cannot explain? Why have you been waking up right before the sun with dread and breathlessness? Why have you felt resistance in areas that were once peaceful? Because rituals, though hidden, echo in the spirit realm. They don't shout, but they rumble. And that rumble reached heaven. That's when I was sent. This is not fiction. This is warfare. And it's been active behind closed doors that you were never meant to see. But I see everything. There is a place, perhaps 3 miles from where you live, where your name was spoken out loud last week. Not in conversation, but in incantation. Not in remembrance, but in retaliation. They think because they added flowers or crystals or symbols that this was harmless. But what they did was spiritual trespassing. And it has consequences. You've felt the results, haven't you? People looking at you differently. Your phone glitching, messages disappearing. Chills when you walk into a room that once felt warm. Do not dismiss this. There was a mirror involved. I saw it. They stared into it and imagined your downfall. They whispered, "I forgive them," with their mouth, but cursed you with their eyes. They never truly let go. They just reshaped their bitterness into ritual. But here's the mystery. Forgiveness protects you until you forget who you are. And child, you've been too quiet. You've brushed off too many nudges. You've ignored too many signs. That's why heaven allowed me to speak with urgency tonight. Someone lit a candle with your pain in their mouth. They believed that if they could make you feel stuck again, they would finally feel free. But freedom built on bondage is not true freedom. It is spiritual theft. That object you keep thinking about, the one you haven't touched in months but can't seem to throw away, it carries residue, not just emotional, spiritual. The same energy that touched it in ritual is now trying to whisper into your atmosphere. But I am here now, and I've brought heaven's fire. There's a room in your home that's been unusually cold, or a part of your house where electronics always malfunction. That's not random. That's a gate. A gate that opened not because you sinned, but because someone used your name without permission. But tonight I place a seal over it. This message is not for curiosity. It's a cleansing. And listen to me, because this next part will make your heart race. A sound will come. Soon. It may be a knock, a ringtone, a voice calling your name when no one is there. That is not just coincidence. That is heaven disrupting the ritual cycle. They wanted you to forget who you were. They wanted your mind clouded, your confidence shaken. That's why lately you've questioned everything. You've even doubted your own worth. Not because you are weak, but because their ritual sent confusion in your direction. But tonight, I reverse every word, every chant, every spell, every lie. I burn the mirror in the spirit. I scatter the ashes of every ritual they made. Because what they didn't count on was you listening to this moment. And what they didn't plan for was Archangel Michael standing in your home with his wings spread. I've traced the rituals. I've seen the names spoken. I've read the false agreements made on paper and in spirit. And now I break them. If you felt dizzy reading this, if you suddenly feel warmth rising in your body, that's me moving through your atmosphere. Your name is holy. Your voice carries authority. And your life is not a playground for rituals done in jealousy. Say this with me. I break every spiritual ritual spoken against my name. My identity is sealed in heaven. Say it again. I will echo that decree through the heavens, and angels will record it. The one who spoke against you in secret will begin to feel spiritual weight. Not because we are cruel, but because truth always demands a response. You may hear from them soon. A message, a strange apology, or a sudden invitation. Be careful, because some apologies are bait. Let peace be your test. Let discernment be your guide. I will be watching. I will be guarding. Because tonight, we saw behind the door, and now the door is shut. Type 777, if you believe every ritual is now reversed. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved child, hear this with a heavy yet healing heart. You believed forgiveness was freedom, for both of you. You thought when you said, 'I forgive you,' it closed the door on pain, betrayal, and broken trust. But to the one who hurt you, forgiveness became a weapon sharper than any blade. I have watched you forgive again and again, pouring out mercy like water from your hands. You covered wounds no one else would see. You silenced your own hurt for the sake of peace. You prayed for their healing while your own spirit screamed for justice. And yet, they took that forgiveness and twisted it. They saw your kindness not as grace but as weakness. They heard your prayers not as peace but as permission. They watched your heart open again and saw a door to be exploited. Forgiveness is a sacred power, a divine act of love that frees the soul. But when met with darkness, it can be stolen, misused, and turned into chains. This is the tragedy I reveal to you tonight. You gave them the key to your heart. and they built a prison. I have seen the nights you cried alone, the tears you thought no one saw, the nights you whispered your pain into pillows, hoping it would vanish. They were not wasted. God saw every tear. I stood by, holding the edge of your grief so it would not drown you. But forgive me for saying this. The one you forgave has not forgiven themselves. Their soul is still broken, and they chose to lash out in darkness rather than seek true healing. I have watched their secret struggles, the anger they hide behind smiles, the bitterness that curls like smoke in their breath. They wrestle with shame but refuse to confess. They carry regrets they dare not share, so they carry them over your name instead. Forgiveness was never a free pass for them. It was a test they failed, a chance to break their own chains that they chose to tighten. You see, child, forgiveness binds the forgiver with strength, but only when met with truth. When met with deceit, forgiveness becomes a door ajar, inviting shadows to enter. And that is what happened. Your open heart was the doorway they slipped through. But now I say to you, you are not responsible for their choice. Your forgiveness was holy. Their betrayal was their own darkness. You are not to blame. Not for their bitterness, not for their rituals, not for the spiritual harm they attempted. The pain you carry is not a punishment. It is a signal, a divine alarm calling you to wake up. I, Michael, have stood beside you in those dark hours. I have heard the silence that filled your home after they left. I have watched the way your spirit retreated, hesitant to trust again. But hear me now. Your pain is not your identity. It is a doorway to healing. And tonight, I am here to open that doorway wide. I want you to know that forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean excusing harm. It does not mean you must open your door to those who weaponize your mercy. Forgiveness is a seed planted in your heart to grow freedom, not chains. When someone you forgave uses your name in rituals, it's a sign they never truly released you. They are still bound by fear, by jealousy, by their own spiritual darkness. But you, beloved, are being called to rise above their darkness. You are being called to protect the sacred space within you. This is not a moment for bitterness or regret. It is a moment for reclaiming your power. You must grieve what was lost. You must honor the betrayal. But then you must stand firm. Say this with me. I forgive myself for what I allowed. I release the pain I carried in silence. I reclaim my name, my spirit, and my peace. Repeat it until your soul feels it, because forgiveness without boundaries invites more harm, and boundaries without forgiveness invite more bitterness. Balance is your weapon. You have carried more than your share. You have fought battles no one else could see. But now I tell you, beloved child, you are not alone. The heavens have heard your silent prayers. Your cries have been recorded in the book of life. Every heartbreak is a step toward the healing waiting for you. You were never meant to carry this burden alone. Tonight I stand with you, sword drawn, not just to fight your battles, but to carry your pain. Your heart is not broken beyond repair. It is being made whole. Because forgiveness is not the enemy. The misuse of forgiveness is. And that misuse ends now. Type 111. If you are ready to reclaim your peace and guard your heart, Archangel Michael says, now is the time to rise, to reclaim what was stolen, to break every chain forged in the shadows. Your name is sacred. It carries your identity, your purpose, your very spirit. When someone uses your name in rituals, without your permission, it is a violation, an attack, a theft. But tonight, I declare, no more. No more will your name be a tool in hands that seek to harm. No more will your spirit be entangled in lies spoken behind your back. I stand at your side, sword drawn and shield raised. I am the protector of your divine identity, and I will fight to the last breath to restore your peace. First, you must understand this. The power to reclaim your name is already within you. It lives in your breath, your voice, your faith. When you speak your true name with authority, you activate the heaven-given force inside you. That force breaks curses. It shatters spells. It unravels every dark ritual tied to your essence. Begin by declaring this aloud. I take back my name. I take back my story. I take back my power. Say it with conviction. Feel every syllable vibrate in your spirit. Next, there are steps you must take. Actions that align your spirit with heaven's protection. Remove objects used in rituals. Look around your home for anything connected to the person you forgave, especially items they touched last. An old gift, a photo, a piece of clothing. Remove them from your space. Do not destroy them in anger. Release them in peace. Burn sage or use holy water to cleanse these items before you dispose of them. This is not superstition. It is spiritual hygiene. Create a sacred boundary. Visualize a circle of white light surrounding your home and your spirit. See it glowing, impenetrable. Repeat this prayer. By the blood of the Lamb and the power of heaven, I close every door that was opened without my consent. I seal my life and my name with the fire of divine protection. Call on Archangel Michael. Ask me to stand guard day and night. Ask me to cut every invisible cord tied to your name. I am always ready to serve you. But I cannot enter where I am not invited. So invite me now. Michael, come and defend me. Break every chain. Guard my name and my life. Speak the name of Jesus. There is power in the name above all names. Speak it loudly when you feel the attack near. Say, in the name of Jesus Christ, I break every curse, every ritual, every lie spoken against me. Now hear this. You are not powerless. You are not a victim. You are a child of light, an heir to divine authority. The one who tried to use your name as a weapon has underestimated the power of God's protection over you. They have underestimated the fire I carry in my wings. Tonight you will feel a shift. Perhaps a heaviness lifting from your chest. Perhaps a sudden peace washing over your mind. Perhaps a dream filled with light and victory. That is the sign your spirit has been waiting for. But protection requires vigilance. Watch your surroundings carefully. Guard your heart from returning to places or people that open doors to these rituals. Stay connected to heaven. Pray without ceasing. And remember, the battle may not end tonight, but victory has already been declared. Every dark word spoken in secret will lose its power. Every ritual cast in jealousy will fall. Every shadow that tried to claim your name will flee before the light. You must stand firm in faith. Repeat this declaration. I am covered in the blood of Christ. My name is holy. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Feel the authority in your spirit. Know this. I, Archangel Michael, am with you. My sword is raised. My wings shield you. You are claimed. You are protected. You are victorious. If you feel the fire rising in your spirit right now, if you feel courage flooding your heart, type 555 to claim your victory and protection. Stand strong, beloved. Your name is yours alone, and no darkness can take it. Archangel Michael says, My beloved child, you have heard the truth spoken tonight. You have been warned with love and authority. The one you forgave may have tried to use your name in dark rituals, but that story does not define you. This moment is your turning point. A new season of healing and freedom is beginning right now. The chains forged in shadow will break. The silence that held your pain will be shattered by truth. Your name, once tangled in deception, will shine brighter than ever before. You are not alone. Heaven stands with you. I stand with you. No weapon formed against you will stand. No dark ritual can hold the light that God has placed inside your soul. Remember this. Every tear you cried, every silent prayer you whispered, every moment you felt unseen, God saw it all. He is not finished with your story. The best chapters are still being written. So rise, beloved. Step into the light of your true name. Declare your victory. Reclaim your peace. And know this: your spirit is unbreakable. Type 999 now if you claim your freedom and your name back. I, Archangel Michael, am watching. I am fighting. And I will not stop until your soul is free. Walk forward in courage. Your breakthrough is coming, and it will be glorious.